IVM.
Hello one, hello all. Welcome to the Diary of the Traveling Professor. And I'm Siddharth Deshmukh, your friendly neighborhood traveling professor himself. This diary entry of mine is, really bothering me. It is something that is vexing me. The reason why it is vexing me is because I'm trying to figure out what is the optimum amount of risk that I can take in my life, and can I make it into a formula, and can I take more risk and be rewarded for it, or will the more risk be connected to failure? Now think about it this way, okay? All of us are seeing the same COVID-19 pandemic affected world all around us, but all of us are perhaps looking at this uncertain world, this world of uncertainty, with different eyes. People who are risk averse are looking at the same world and washing their hands more religiously and making sure they put their masks on and making sure that social distancing norms happen and the rest of it, and behaving like the way in which risk averse people would. And then there are those of us, well, I'm not going to get too much there, but well, we tend to break those rules. And both sides exist, don't we? The funny thing is that if you look at risk takers and risk averse people, they're looking at the same uncertainty and making different decisions in their minds. Some of those decisions for risk takers end up in disastrous failures, and some of those decisions by risk takers end up as really successful ones. And I was trying to battle in my head as to what is a smart risk. So if I'm a risk taker and if I start blithely jumping around in these pandemic conditions, I will, put myself at great risk and put people I love at great risk. But if I am a smart risk taker, I might understand actually to develop my own set of rules, especially after the lockdown ends, make sure that I'm safe, but even though the world is uncertain, I may not necessarily shy away from opportunities to make my life better, to make my work better, to make my earning capacity better, or to make, other people's lives that matter to me better. So that probably is a smart risk because I am kind of overriding what my senses are telling me and using my prefrontal cortex, which is my logical, rational thinking side in my brain, to come up with my own set of rules. Yeah, you heard that right. Our senses give a certain set of rules to us, which is based on, all the stuff that we see, touch, hear, everything that people are saying around us, okay? And we get into fear, flight, fight or freeze, those responses. But a risk taker who's a smart risk taker, and a lot of entrepreneurs are smart risk takers, actually sees these risks for what they are. They're not risks. Some of them may be, okay? And he will look at those uncertainties and make sure that they're covered. She will see a lot of alternative possibilities and go for those possibilities while other people don't. Now, if a risk taker is a smart risk taker, this is what that smart risk taker is doing. That risk taker is making sure that they override what is being communicated by their primitive brains and utilizing abstract thinking to make sure that they come up with their own rules. They are thinking deeply about uncertainty and not confusing it with risk. They look at uncertainty as opportunity and smartly deal with risk all around opportunity. Easier said than done though, and which is why we have very few successful, let's say, entrepreneurs, or very few people who remain 2 steps ahead of the world and therefore win. There are many people who stay 10 steps ahead and they're so way far ahead of their time that nobody really understands what the hell they're talking about. Or there are some people who are always reacting to situations. Perhaps with a little practice, all of us can get into becoming better and smarter risk takers. understand the difference between uncertainty and risk, understand the difference between a smart risk and a dumb risk. What do you guys feel? I hope you've enjoyed this diary entry of mine, and many more to come on this on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. If you like the funnier side, well, I'm on Instagram and I make a lot of weirdly funny stories over there as the traveling professor, of course. Do listen to me, and until next time.
I hope you enjoyed that show. We'd like to thank our sponsors this week, Paytm Money. Do definitely check out our social media accounts. We've been doing some really cool stuff over there. There are a bunch of recommendations from hosts. I think you'll really enjoy the content that we're putting out there. And make sure you don't miss your favorite shows. Cyrus Says has been putting out some great stuff, as is the Prakriti podcast, all about policy, has been doing some really, really fun stuff. The guys at Football Shitball and Football Twaddle are continuing to release episodes as well, which are really interesting. Paisa Vaisa Anupam's been having guest after guest, just killing it. Pulia Bazi's been doing so well. Postcards from Nowhere. All these shows are really, really doing well and really, really putting out great stuff. Appreciate the efforts that the hosts are putting in the lockdown. And thanks for listening, and we hope to catch you again next week.
How many times have you motivated yourself to improve your sleep, or lose weight, or be more productive? How many times have you failed? Hi, my name is Ashton Doctor. Tune into my show, The Habit Coach Podcast, where we focus on creating small, tiny habits to improve your life instead of those big, impossible tasks. So make listening to me a habit every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com or on your favorite podcasting app.